Welcome to the war room where the tribe is alive. We're shining the light and spreading the fire. From every nation, we're standing as one, debunking the lies till the work is done.
We stand for free, we stand for the rights of everyone.
This is the story of the mushrooms and the power that they hold. Turkey tail leaves the line up, helping immune systems grow bold. Lion's mane sharpens focus, keeps the mind steady on flow. Actually brings the calm and balance, heart steady, nice and slow. Cordyceps support the breath, open lungs like a show. Shall you take it as a harmony, keeps the whole body in the know. For humans and for animals, the benefits start to show. These mushrooms move with purpose, letting the natural healing roll. Miracle mushrooms, watch the wellness grow. From the homestead to the city, everybody wants to know. Nature's finest, working daily, steady with a gentle glow. Pet care and fungi, they always steal the show. Spermidine is the chapter, helping cells renew. Longevity in motion, feeling fresh, feeling new. Turkey tail stands with fighters, pushing strength all the way through. Every capsule is a lesson that Mother Nature always knew. Slide left, slide right, ancient wisdom in a swing. These mushrooms carry stories, feel the healing that they bring. For the dogs, for the cats, for the people on the scene. This is wellness in a rhythm, modern, powerful and clean. Miracle mushroom, watch the wellness grow. From the homestead to the city, everybody wants to know. Nature's finest, working daily, steady with a gentle glow. Pet care and fungi, they always steal the show. Mushroom ladies share the knowledge, helping everyone to know. Teaching how mushrooms work with us, how the healing starts to grow. From the pets to the people, let the natural magic flow. Pet care and fungi, they always steal the show.
And there you go. Hope you like that song there. Brought to you by Miss GLENDIA. Thank you, Miss GLENDIA. And she just so happened to be on the show with us tonight. So we
Thank
asked for a
you.
mushroom song, and there you go.
I love that song.
I did too. That was awesome.
Just want to welcome everybody to the show tonight. It is February 18th, 2026. We're going to be talking about people, pets, and mushroom. Tonight's title of the show is From Paws to People, the Power of Medicinal Mushrooms.
Woohoo!
Woohoo. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta get my, where's my chair, but I don't even know.
Your cheer button.
But welcome. So, as you can see, we are with the pet ladies tonight, or the mushroom ladies. I always call them pet ladies. That's what we originally called.
We've
But I
been
want
called
to thank.
worse.
Mhm.
So we've been called worse.
Right. But we're glad to have you ladies on with us tonight, minus the other sidekick, but that's okay. We'll catch her on the next round.
That's right. Yes. Well, thank you for having us. We're so glad to be here. And I love the intro song, GLENDIA. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Music impressed. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, once again, thanks again for having us on tonight. We are so grateful to be here. We love being here on this platform. Thank you so much. I'm Kim, also known as Nature Girl, and in the Telegram chat. Our primary goal here is our pet's health. But however, we need to be staying healthy to care for our critters, whether it's a dog, cat, horse, chicken, or whatever. We need to be on top of our game because they depend on us 100%. And as you all know, our flagship mushroom, it products for the animals and the humans is the Coriellus versicolor mushroom. And it has over 400 medical studies that give support to the mushrooms gives support to the immune system to aid in the most minor condition to the most catastrophic condition. And Penn State actually came out, it's a school of veterinary medicine, came out and said, if your pup gets cancer and takes the Coriellus versicolor mushroom, it will live longer and healthier. And I'm sure happier too. What a bold statement for the university to make. Wow, But this mushroom is not a cure. It's not a treatment. It does not heal anything. And we are not giving medical or veterinary advice. The immune system gets its support and then it goes to work, just as it was designed to do by our creator. It is a mushroom mission, a mineral mission, and a nutrition mission. Say that 3 times. We believe that wellness should be shared. That's why we focus on the mushrooms that support both pets and humans, and it's creating a bridge of ancient knowledge and modern living. And we have a line of mushrooms based on the human and pet products. And I started this, as you most all of you know, because I was diagnosed with a pituitary tumor. And prior to starting the mushroom, I had 3 MRIs that showed growth every 6 months. And since I started the mushrooms, 2.5 months after I started, I had my first MRI and it didn't grow. 6 months later, it didn't grow. 6 months later, and it didn't grow. And that's very important to me because that tumor is pressing on my optic nerve. And if it continues to grow and press even harder, it can cause blindness. Ugh, I hate saying that. That's the first time I think I've ever let that word come out. But so I am adamant about taking this mushroom every day, and will continue to take it probably forever because of the immune support. And so with that, these mushrooms aren't trends. They are timeless tools that have supported life for centuries. Now that they're finally accessible to every family member, every pet parent who deserves a healthier, happier life. And now I want to introduce the other mushroom lady, Diana. She is known as one of the mushroom ladies. Diana is certified in holistic pet care, CBD for pets and humans, and she is certified in pet nutrition. Welcome, Diana. Thank you, Kim.
Yay.
Every time I hear your story, I just thank God for
you finding this and finding us and us finding you, because it's been such a great collaboration. And I just enjoy you so much. And I'm just honored to be working with you on this incredible mission.
And what's so exciting is I found you on a podcast like this.
Exactly. That's why these podcasts are so amazing. And that's why we really want everybody to share these podcasts, because since we keep it totally about the animals and the people and the mushrooms, you can share these podcasts with anybody, and it does help support the platform. But thank you for the nice introduction. And again, Sheepdogs, thank you so much for everything you guys do. I don't know what we would do without you. It's just been amazing to learn from you and grow with all the things you teach us. Ancient wisdom, modern wellness for pets and their humans. How cool is that, right? So I had something happen this week that really just warmed my heart. I went to an event in the middle of the desert with 400 truck campers, and we have a big, huge truck camper, and 700 people and over 300 dogs. And we are sponsors of the event. This is our 5th year sponsoring it. One of the sponsors. I do a talk on traveling with animals, because 80% of the people that have RVs travel with their pets. So as I was sitting at our booth, a woman comes running over to me and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Diana, I was hoping you'd be here." And I didn't know her, and I felt kind of bad because I didn't know who she was. She goes, "May I hug you?" Well, of course, I'll never turn down a hug, right? So she hugs me, and then she just bursts into tears. And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong?" She goes, "Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. I'm just so grateful to be able to hug you. I met you 2 years ago. We were here with our 12-year-old Mastiff Great Dane. He was on his last leg. We were actually taking him on his last road trip because he had traveled with us for 11 years. And she said we were going to bring him home and put him down. And you gave me a bag of mush ponies. Well, I remembered the dog at that moment, because I do remember he was really hurting. He could hardly walk, and he didn't look good. He didn't look happy either. She said, "You gave me a bag of mush ponies." And she said, "It was so generous of you to do that." And we started him on mush ponies right away. Within 8 days, we saw such a difference in the dog, the way he was moving, the way he was jumping up and down and getting into bed. And she said, we said, we can't put him down. He's improving. And she said, "You gave us another year with this baby." And it wasn't just a year. It was a good year. She said it was probably one of the best years he had. And then, of course, at the end, he went to puppy heaven. And she said, "We just thank God every day that we found these mushrooms, because we wouldn't have known about them had we not come here, had we not met them, and had you not given them to us and saw, some possible hope." And then the next thing she said that was really sweet, she said, "We have all of our animals on it. They own an alpaca farm. They're starting their alpacas on working with some of our mushrooms, which is kind of exciting. But, when those things happen, it makes everything we're doing worthwhile." I literally was bouncing off of the walls that whole week that we were there, because those stories never get old. So for thousands of years, cultures around the world have turned to mushrooms as a trusted ally in their health, vitality, longevity, long before supplements and scientific studies were available. Ancient healers observed something remarkable. Mushrooms helped both humans and animals stay strong, recover faster, live more balanced lives. And this wasn't superstition. It was lived experience, and it was passed down through generations. I met a man this week who is a mushroom enthusiast. He brought me a whole bunch of different mushrooms to look at and told me stories that just blew my mind of the experience he's had. He has been dabbling in the mushroom world. He was in his 70s since he was a little boy. And in traditional Chinese medicine, mushroom like the Corylus versicolor mushroom, which is generically called turkey tail, the reishi mushroom, the shiitake mushroom, the maitake mushroom, just to name a few, have been considered treasures. They were at one point reserved for emperors, warriors, and healers. And they were believed to strengthen the body's life force, as well as support resilience and bring harmony to the mind and spirit. That's important. We all know that, excuse me, good attitude is really important for healing. In Japan, maitake was so valued that its name means the dancing mushroom. And because people literally danced with joy when they found it, in Japan, the Corylus versicolor mushroom is the standard protocol for those with the big C. So, Kim shared her story as to why she's been a part of this, and I want to share my story. I was in the pet industry for decades. I built pet stores all over the world. I ran a few big pet store companies, and so I knew the pet industry. I know that it's an industry where people will emotionally buy for their animal, and they'll do just about anything for their animal, many times at their own expense. They'll take care of their animal before they take care of themselves. So when this company started in 2016, the founders knew me through someone who knew me, and they contacted me and said, look, we know you love animals. Would you be interested in being a part of this? We've got this mushroom. We've got these studies from Penn State University. We would like to start offering this product for animals. And my first thought was, I'm retired. I really didn't want to go back to work, but how could they say no to the animals, right? And if this really worked, holy crap, I'm in. So I started dabbling 2017, 18, 19, giving the product to people to try, hearing really good stories, getting great results. And then we started getting people who were saying, hey, if you have these for animals, will they work on people? Well, that's when our pet parent corner was formed, and we started offering the human end of it also. We actually had people who were eating the dog stuff. Not that they couldn't. It's made in human-grade kitchens. Everything in it's organic and natural. I mean, I've tasted every single one of our products, except the two creams. I haven't tasted those. I don't think I'm supposed to. Oh, no, I have on one of them. I'll have to show it to you. So 2020 comes, and the pandemic was in full swing. Things were getting kind of crazy out there, and lockdowns were happening and all the stuff that we all know we lived through. And I was diagnosed with colon cancer. This is 6 years ago, right about now. It was the 20th of February. And they said, oh, you can't, you have a tumor inside your colon, and if it ruptures or explodes, it'll kill you, but we can't put you in the hospital and take it out until a board decides that you're worthy of the surgery. And I'm like, you're kidding, right? And they said, no, this is just the protocol right now because of COVID and because of, lockdown and all these things. So I talked to our staff mycologist, and he suggested that I take the Corylus versicolor, which is in the green bottle. He suggested that I take 10 of them a day. Now, why 10? Because 3 would have been normal for me for maintenance. But because I was dealing with something catastrophic, stage 3 colon cancer, he suggested that I triple up. So I did every day. 30 days later, I got a call. You've been approved for surgery. And I went in for my pre-op blood work. Had to go through police checkpoints. It was just nuts to get into a hospital then. And came home and was packing a bag to go to the hospital 2 days later. And I got a call from the oncology department that they wanted to do a video conference with me immediately. I got on that call, and there was my doctor smiling. And he said, my oncologist, he said, what are you doing? And I thought that was the most bizarre question. What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm packing a suitcase. I'm getting ready to go to the hospital, I think. Why are you calling me? And he said, Diana, you're in remission. What are you doing? Well, I don't know about any of you, but I really didn't know what that meant. And I knew those words were good, right? We've heard those words. Oh, she's in remission. Oh, they're in remission. But I really wasn't sure what it meant. And then he kind of explained to me the technology behind it and how every cancer has some sort of a marker that they use to measure your progress or your demise. And in my case, healthy was 2.5. I was in the teens, but that day I was 0.05. And again, he said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm taking the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. And his comment back to me was, I don't know anything about it. Send me everything you have. And thank goodness he said that. But how sad that a doctor of oncology knew nothing about this mushroom, yet in Japan, it's first protocol. Oh, well. So I went into the hospital. I had the tumor removed. I recovered in record time. I did do chemotherapy for 6 months because I had a very aggressive cancer with a 40% chance of reoccurrence without chemotherapy. But I had seen a study from Sloan Kettering that said, if you're going through chemotherapy and you take the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, it can complement chemotherapy. That pretty much was my decision maker to do chemotherapy because my husband and I had both said no chemo. But, I couldn't argue with the reoccurrence numbers. They were scary. And then when I saw this study, I felt very at ease. This mushroom has 400 medical studies. That one study was a really, really eye-opener for me. So why do I tell this story every time I'm on any podcast? And I repeat it hundreds of times. Is because there's somebody out there who just got this diagnosis, or there's somebody out there who is stressing about a health situation. And when they hear my story, they can kind of go, oh, there was this girl. And I have to tell another story. This is funny. I can't remember who it was. I got a phone call the other day. They said they were somewhere at a swap meet in another state, and there was somebody with some mushrooms that you could buy, fresh mushrooms, and someone said, oh, I hear these are good for medicinal things. And someone goes, oh, you need to call the mushroom ladies. The mushroom ladies, they're in Nevada. And I thought, wow, how cool is this that we're making this kind of an impact? So indigenous cultures across North America used mushrooms to support vitality, to support immune strength and spiritual grounding. For me, my immune system was obviously compromised. But because of this mushroom, I was able to just come through it like a champ. Today, modern science is finally catching up with this ancient wisdom. Research is confirming that what our ancestors knew was correct. Functional mushrooms contain powerful compounds that support immune health, brain function, energy, digestion, overall well-being. And the best part is it works for our animals too. That's what I love about this, is that it's amazing. The mushrooms that power our mission are the turkey tail, which is the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, and it's otherwise sometimes known as the immune defender. It's great for gut balance and immune support, microbiome health and resilience. And we have products for humans in capsule forms, many different products, but this is the Coriolis versicolor. And we have products for our dogs. Our dogs and cats with the mush puppies, and the mush ponies for our equine animals, as well as like this dog that this woman had come up to me. He was almost 200 pounds. So we put him on mush ponies because he was a big boy. I was laughing when she said, oh, you should have seen him jump into bed. I'm like, you let that dog in bed with you? He's bigger than a person, right? She goes, of course he's in bed with us. So, and I love that because, my dog, no matter what size he would be in bed with me too. So our Coriolis versicolor, which is our flagship product, is a product we started with, is our mushroom of choice first. If somebody is dealing with allergies or something's going on, we always say, go to the Coriolis versicolor plus, the first, the green bottle, and or the mush puppies plus, or mush ponies, or the super sauce. So we say go here first because This supports the immune system. It's known as the immune defender. And once that immune system starts working properly, everything else just starts to fall into place. You know, God created us perfectly, and he created this mushroom world perfectly. It's a kingdom all on its own. And if we can just utilize it, it can do so much to support our body and help our body do the job it was supposed to do. So the other mushroom that we deal with is the lion's mane mushroom, and it is known as the brain booster. It's so good for neurological and cognitive issues, for learning, focus, senior cognitive issues. For humans, it can enhance your memory, clarity, creativity. It really is a scary time in the world with so many people being diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all of these neurological things. In 2024, the American Medical Association actually linked the brain to the immune system. That was huge. Up until then, they always said, oh, one doesn't have anything to do with the other. One doesn't have anything to do with the other. Well, now we have proof it does. So what this has done is it's opened up so many great things for people with any of these situations, including our animals. I mean, our animals have cognitive issues too. We've seen dogs with dementia. You know, I have a whole theory on that. I believe part of it is the Roundup in the ground and the vaccines we're being forced to give them, as well as the food that we're feeding. So we do have something called chill doggies. Chill doggies do exactly what it says. It just chills the doggy. That's all it does. It just takes the doggy down a notch so that the dog could be a little more comfortable. But we also have the lion's mane in the Clarity product for adults. We have seen some amazing turnarounds. I've got a guy right now in Hawaii that has severe Parkinson's, as well as some dementia issues. And, you know, normally we don't know when we have dementia issues, but our family sees it. And he's had Parkinson's for quite a few years, and it's been getting progressively worse. So we started him on the Enforce product, the green bottle. We started him on quite a few a day. I think he's taking 10 a day, and the Clarity product. And for the first time in 7 years, now he's been on our product now almost 4 years. For the first time in 7 years, his Parkinson's has not progressed, kind of similar to what Kim said about her tumor by her pituitary gland. It hasn't gotten bigger. It hasn't progressed. But the family said they started noticing that his dementia had started to improve, that they weren't having those conversations of asking the same things over and over again. Of course, he didn't notice that, but the family noticed it. So that's exciting for me. I love that. And then the shiitake mushroom. Oh my gosh, I love the shiitake mushroom. It's just an incredible mushroom. It's really good for vitality. It's good for overall wellness, antioxidant protection. It boosts energy, heart health, also viral issue. And that's in our Shield product, which is the orange bottle. And then the reishi mushroom. Oh my gosh, I love this mushroom. We've added it to one of our Enforce products called the Enforce Plus. And, you know, some people call it the calming mushroom. It does help with stress, relaxation, emotional balance, sleep, mood, blood pressure, and cholesterol. We've also added it to an incredible balm you can put on your face, or you can put on your dog's paws or your dog's nose. This has organic raw shea butter in it. It also has calendula oil in it, which is an unbelievable healer. I mean, it can help with burns. It can help with eczema. It can help with, little tiny closed wounds. You don't want to put it on open wounds. It also, can help your skin boost its collagen levels. And this is just an amazing product. We are so happy to have this product. And then we have the maitake mushroom. This is a metabolic supporter. And the maitake mushroom comes in our Restore product. Now, maitake can also help with liver and pancreas, metabolic wellness, blood sugar, healthy weight, immune balance. So these mushrooms have so many different functions. And, we've just tried really hard to put together a presentation for you guys that blends education, fun, and expert insight into these mushrooms. In the future, we're going to be doing some things like mushrooms for the whole family and lion's mane and brain support, sharper thinking for you and your pets. We're going to be doing some the mushroom medicine cabinet, everything you should have in your medicine cabinet, ancient wisdom and modern pets. We're going to be adding mushrooms to our daily routine in a fun way. And this is really an important mission for us. It is a mission. We do also have kids products because you got to have these kids on this stuff too, right? I mean, we've had so many kids that have started on this, and usually the grandparent is the one that does it, right? The grandparent says, you need to take this. And the kids start taking it. They love them, so they want to take them because they're tasty and yummy. 100% natural. We're the first company that I know of that's made a gummy without corn syrup. And we're really proud of that. It wasn't an easy thing for us to do. But we've also just recently introduced our longevity gel. I was a little, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan when they said they were going to introduce this product. Beauty and longevity gel, are you kidding me? We're saving animals. I didn't get it until I really worked and learned about this product. And then it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to help save our animals and ourselves too, because it helps the body produce collagen. It helps the body do things that it's not doing naturally because it's been compromised. I put it on my skin. I just love it. I love it. I love it. It's so amazing. And I also put it in my coffee and I put it in my dog's food. This has amazing processed, purified, structured water. It has a sea moss. It has a couple different mushrooms. It's an amazing product. I'm going to answer this question. I have a 17-year-old shepherd with weak hips. Oh, poor baby, 17 years old. Wow. For a shepherd. You know, back in the 70s, that wouldn't have been considered that old. But today, that's like almost a miracle that you've made it. So you're obviously doing some amazing things, probably giving it a lot of love and good food. If it was my shepherd, I would go right to the mush ponies because of its size. Now, why will this help the shepherd? It's got naturally sourced glucosamine, chondroitin, keratin, which is going to strengthen those joints and hips. It's also got the Coriolus versicolor mushroom, which is going to help this dog's immune system do the job that it's probably getting really tired of doing. This would be my number one. Now, depending on, budget is always an issue for people. This runs about $20 a month if you cut him in half, because he only needs a half of one. And then the Bucky Bites. The reason I would go with the Bucky Bites is because it's really good for the joints and the kidneys and the heart and the skin and the coat, which with shepherds, that's a big issue. So yeah, that's what I would do for that baby. So I'm gonna close out pretty quick here, but join us on this mission. At Sheepdog Pets, we're not just offering products. We're building a movement, and it's a movement that's rooted in ancient wisdom, supported by modern science. I love how the two go together, and it's inspired by the bond that we have with our pets. We believe that pets and their humans deserve to thrive together. They need to age gracefully, and they need to live with energy, clarity, and joy. And mushrooms can do that. So let's join us on this mission. Let's bring natural wellness into our home, one mushroom at a time. And I want you to know that helping animals live longer and healthier has been the most joyous, gratifying thing I've done. I'm almost 67 years old, and I finally think I have found like a purpose in my life. Not that I haven't had a great life, but never felt like I was making a difference. And now I do feel like I'm making a difference. Every pet parent, every day. And we're disrupting the pet industry. I love that because it's a $1 billion industry, and the veterinarians are making so much money off of pharmaceuticals. And we have products that are natural, and they aren't going to be hard on the liver, and they aren't going to be hard on the kidneys. So by visiting sheepdogpets.com, you're actually sticking it to the big box stores, and you're helping support the community. We have to help the sheepdogs keep this show going. We have to help by doing things where we can support their sponsors and help them fund this mission, because what they're doing is important. Please share the link for the show today with anybody that that maybe has some health issues or not, or just wants to be healthy, or has animals and loved animals. We also have an affiliate program that can bring some added income into your home, and all you have to do is share a link, and people that go on and purchase, you can get a portion of that. But let us know if you'd like to be a voice for those that don't have a voice, and let us know what we can do to answer your questions. I'm going to try to answer some questions here. Oh, this is a German Shepherd, not a German Shepherd. Oh, it says not a German Shepherd mix. Oh, okay. Got it. Wow. She's a Shepherd mix. Wow. I'm still 17 years old. Anyhow, you can email us at the sheepdogs.
No.
Pets.
Sheepdogs.
She's not the, I'm sorry. Sheepdogs pet. Thank you, Kim. pets@gmail.com. We love getting the questions. We love trying to help you through whatever it is. If you email us, include the dog's age, the breed, and the weight. Otherwise, we just have to say, how old is the dog? How much does it weigh? What breed is it? Because every breed is, important. So this is a Shepherd mix. Do you know what kind of shepherds are in this dog? An old Shepherd mix. Wow. I wonder what else is part of that dog's history. What do you feel about all the natural pet food stores? Okay. So there's a documentary called Pet Fooled, Fooled. It's old. It's 13 years old. But the director recently was interviewed, and she said, if I had to do the movie over again, it wouldn't change. Nothing has changed. And it talks about the pet foods and how bad they are. Most of our pet foods have carcinogens because they're baked at high temperatures. They have roadkill, meat not fit for human consumption. It's called byproducts. Whenever you see the words byproducts, that can be diseased, dying, decaying animals. They have, we know that there has been formaldehyde found in these foods. We know that they fill with corns and things that just give them more product to make the bottom line better. So do I think there's some amazing foods out there? Absolutely. However, just because they're expensive doesn't mean they're good. Let's take Science Diet, for instance. Science Diet is recommended by every veterinarian. Why? Because it's classified as a medication, so they can offer it in their practice without having to deal with the whole retail end of the business. Science Diet offers a tuition reimbursement program. They offer tons of training. They offer all kinds of things, but the problem is that it is the most recalled food in the nation. So what do I suggest? Send me what you're feeding, a picture of the front of the bag, picture of the back of the bag. I'll do an analysis for you, and I'll let you know if it's a good food. There's some great foods out there. Fabulous. There's also some junk food, so we want to make sure. We've tried to order through the Sheepdog's Pet, but it will not let me in with my email because we've already ordered before. Okay, so here's what you need to do. Email me at sheepdogspets@gmail.com with a request to be moved over to the Sheepdogs. You can still order from that site, but then it will support the Sheepdogs. Just email me a request at sheepdogspets@gmail.com. Sorry for that. We only allow one email per account, and so that's why that's happening, but we can fix it. So let's see if we have any other great questions. I haven't been paying attention to chat, but I will go back. Kim, was there any questions?
I haven't looked at that. I couldn't see it if I did.
Yep. I don't see any more. Do you?
No, I don't either. Mickey Mimu, did I see that you said you had to go feed a cat? I didn't know you had a cat.
Yes.
I did not know you had a cat. I said, when you said you had to go feed your cat, I was like, hey, I didn't know that. I'm going to go back to the food for a second. Making your own food is not hard. A lot of people will think, oh, I could never do that. I don't know what to put in it. And that's really sad because we're so trained that it has to be all this scientific stuff. It really doesn't. I have an incredible recipe for homemade food. If you just want to email me, I can send it to you. If you take one day a month and make up a batch and put it in small balls and throw them in the freezer, you've got a month's worth of food. And in most cases, it ends up being less expensive. It's pretty amazing, as well as better for the animal. You know, back when I was a kid, we didn't have all these crazy foods. I remember in the 80s, late 70s, when they started introducing the premium pet foods and trying to explain to people why they were so much better. And I kind of liken it to back when I was born in 1958, they had convinced all the women that breastfeeding wasn't optimum.
Oh.
My mother, I'll never forget my mom. I said, Mom, did you breastfeed us? She said, oh, honey, no, that was just for poor people. They convinced a whole generation of women that breastfeeding wasn't good. Well, I think they convinced a whole couple generations of us that we have to go with these pre-made dog foods that look at the longevity of our dogs. They're half of what they used to be. And, you know, I never knew a dog when I was a kid that had cancer, or a dog that had allergies, or a dog that had diabetes. Are you kidding? Dogs didn't get that stuff. So, you know, we have to kind of get back to a simpler way of doing things for our animals. And also I received a call from one of our podcasters the other day. He was at the veterinarian's office. It was 5 a.m. my time. And I saw that he called, and I knew it had to have been important because he wouldn't have called me at that time. And he said, I'm at the vets. My dog, you know, fell. We think he might have a broken leg. And we took him to the vet, and they won't treat him if we don't give him a rabies shot. And they won't treat him and I'm like, oh my God. You know, I couldn't believe it. And he didn't know what to do. And of course, the dog has a broken leg, you know, and they wouldn't even x-ray it. That was the thing that really made me mad. So I said, well, ask him to do a titer test to see if the rabies vaccine is still in the system, because it is. And then just basically really put your foot down and say, you know, what would this vaccine do for my dog right now when he is sitting here in pain with what we think is a broken leg? And I guess it was quite the argument. And he put his foot down, and they ended up taking care of the pup, which I'm really happy to hear. But it's a shame that somebody, you know, had to like throw a hissy fit in the veterinarian's office to get them to do their job, right?
Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
made me so mad.
I was so happy that he felt comfortable enough to call me at that time. He kept apologizing, like, no, don't apologize, you know. But this is a good one. It says, my daughter was wondering if you could make those cookies without chocolate chips. Yes, we have one that's made with oats and raisins, oatmeal. And that's exactly for that. We put chocolate, Belgium chocolate in this. Again, we made these cookies so the kids would love them and want them. It's kind of like back in the day when Flintstone vitamins were introduced, even though they're
Horrible.
not great, right? It was so that kids would want to take them, and it worked. I mean, kids were like begging for their vitamins, right? Whereas before, that didn't happen. So we really worked hard to come up with a formula that was as healthy as it could be, but it still had to be tasteful, and the kids had to want it. But we did, because we had a few people who didn't like the chocolate, we did make an oatmeal raisin that you can try, and it's really, really, really good. So I'm glad. Thank you for that question. Is your homemade food just for dogs, or can you give it to cats? I do not have a great cat recipe, but you know what I will do, because I've been asked that a couple times in the last 6 months. I'm going to call our holistic vet who's on our board and just ask her if she has something. Cats are so, she doesn't like oatmeal either. Oh no. Well, then you're going to have to go with the gummies, and they are really good. I'm on carnivore diet. I don't eat any sugars at all. And I very little other than if it walks, flies, or swims. It's just what I'm doing right now. And I've been doing it for 2.5 years. But I will, once every maybe 6 or 7 days, have one of these gummies, just because it satisfies my little need to have something. They're really, really good. But yeah, you're gonna have to go with the gummies. That's the only thing I can think of.
Or open up the capsules and put them in something.
Oh, sure, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so she loves the gummies. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yay. Oh my gosh, I just shared a picture of my 17-year-old dog in the chat, if that helps. I would love to see that. I can't see it in the chat, but if you could email me at sheepdogspets@gmail.com, I'd love to see the picture. It's so great. You know, dogs can make it to 20. Our story of Zenta was 16 and a husky when the vet said put her down. And Mr. Kurt Weeks and Gail Weeks, they posted on Facebook for everybody that, you know, we're gonna have to put our pup down, and they were very sad. And thank goodness it was Kristen who saw the post and called him and said, you know, have you ever heard of mushrooms? And he said, oh, we're not that kind of people. That's exactly what he said. Oh, we're not that kind of people. And she said, no, Kurt, you know me. She said, you know, and they took some mush ponies because Zenta was pretty big. And literally within 4 or 5 days, the dog was moving better. And Zenta got off all her medications and lived 4 more years. She lived till she was 20. And the day before she died, she hiked 5 miles. She didn't die because of anything except a horrible accident. She had a horrible accident and it killed her. But she was hiking 5 miles a day at 20. So we got some more time in that little baby at 17. I really want to see a picture of that baby. So do we have any other questions?
Yeah.
There's
He's
the
on the-
picture.
Yeah, there's the picture.
That's Chloe. She says Chloe
Oh,
17.
oh, look at that baby.
Individually.
Chloe and Winter.
Oh my gosh, look at them.
And Winter's 9.
Now which is the one, which one is the 17-year-old? The
She
white
said
one?
Chloe's the one that's 17. She's the brown dog. And
Okay.
Winter is the white one.
Okay. Winter looks like she's got a few extra pounds on her.
Yeah. She's
Not,
cute.
I'm just saying.
Gracie, close your ears. You didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's like my
I
dog.
have a few extra pounds on me, so I get it. Oh, this dog looks really good. Look at that baby.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the
Wow.
mushrooms will help it to lose some weight, won't it?
You know, hey, we control what they eat. We give them their treats. We give them stuff. It's not going to help them lose some weight. It's going to help their body maintain as you cut back on their diet a little bit. I worked with a guy the other day, a couple months ago, who had a pug. Oh my gosh, this pug! I've never seen such a round basketball in my life. It was the fattest little pug I've ever seen, and it's not good for the dog. And it was really kind of sad. And so he said, I just can't like take him down. He'll just look at me and he'll cry. And I'm like, look, you can, you know, maybe take some of he's put the dog on Mush Puppies Plus, maybe cut it up into a few pieces and trick them. You know, we know that's, you know, they're going to sue us one day for that, for giving them one treat that we've divided into 4 and making them think it's 4. But, you know, it's what's best for the animal. You know, we've definitely, and she's food motivated. Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I have a food motivated pup because he was food deprived. And, you know, he eats so fast, it makes me so sad. We had to put a gobble stopper in his food bowl, which is like a thing that makes him have to work to get to all the food. So it slows him down a little bit. But when they're food motivated, it's really hard, you know, to not give in. But when you give in too much and they get heavy, it's hard on their joints and it's hard on their organs. And yeah, just like us, we know, you know, I'm preaching to the choir. I need to lose 20 pounds. I know. So any other questions that we have there?
That's it, right?
Kim, is there anything you'd like to add?
Oh, I thought of something a while ago, but then it slid away. I would like to say that some of the veterinarians out there are very excited about these products. I went and spoke to one the other day and took them some samples, and they were very excited. And she grabbed up that cat sauce real quick and she says, I've got somebody for this right now. I can't wait to see what it's going to do. So, you know, if you've got a veterinarian that it might be interested, you could let us know that too. We'll kind of follow up with them.
You know, I've with veterinarians, I really have been pleasantly surprised at their willingness to look at these alternatives. And I hate that these are alternatives and not mainstay. I have a veterinarian in our town who sends people to me all the time. She doesn't want to carry retail, but when she has an old dog that's not healthy enough for surgery and he's got some stuff going on, it's amazing at how many people she sends to me. And I love that because it just, it means that she cares. You know, she's not just, I don't believe that they go into becoming a veterinarian because they're all about the money. I don't believe that. I believe they go into veterinarian medicine because they want to help animals. And then the corporations take over. I mean, we all know, look at the veterinarians that are being bought up by the big corporate chains. I've talked to so many veterinarians that have told me it's no different than the medical, you know, how many private doctor practices do we see left out there, right? There's hardly any. Well, the same things happen with the veterinarians, that these practices are being made to do so much with insurances, and the cost of everything has gotten so high that they feel like their only choice is to join a conglomerate. And the minute they join these conglomerates, then they're completely at the beck and call of what they want them to do, like giving the Novavax vaccine. You know, it's really sad. So if you do have a good local veterinarian, you know, support them because they're few and far between right now. And the holistic vets, I'm enjoying working with them. You know, they have their own mindset. And most of them are single owner operated type stores, or they own a couple of stores, you know, veterinarian clinics. But yeah, it's kind of sad. Kind of sad. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog and GLENDIA?
No, I want to thank you for the presentation. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Again, it's not just the products, but it's also you ladies. So I want to thank you both for being with us tonight.
This is our favorite podcast. I don't care if my other podcasters hear that, because you guys do so much work in the background. You just do. It's just so much fun.
Yep. I'd like to suggest to everybody to be preventative instead of reactive. You know, be, you know.
I'm seeing somebody here has a problem with their order. What did they say? Oh, never mind. I thought they were something about their smart ship. Sorry. Go ahead, Kim. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. Just, you know, some people think, dog treats are that much. Well, you got to change your thinking about it. It's not a treat. It's, I don't know.
Well, you know what? We this is how I've always said this. I believe these are life-enhancing biscuits disguised as treats.
That's right.
And most of our products, are under $20 a month for an animal. And you know, that's fairly reasonable. And we did have a price increase. It's the first one that we've had. In 9 years, we've only had 2 price increases, and we hated doing that. But we do have the pack buying, which helps people who are dealing with catastrophic issues. I've got a guy in Canada right now who's taking 20 a day of the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. Well, he's 300 pounds, and 300 pounds, 6 a day would be normal. So triple up, that's 18. He rounds it up to 20. That's a lot, but that's 10 bottles a month. But he was able to purchase the big pack and get, you know, $300 worth of free products. So that's really helped him.
Yes. I love the packs.
Yeah, it is good. Thanks again, Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog. And Mrs. Sheepdog, thank you for sending me some of your amazing ideas for the show. I really appreciated that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you all.
And here we have former AAFCO president admits that pet food may contain pets.
Of course. Oh, good.
So yeah, the food is really cheap, isn't it? If you look at it, right, you can get like a 20-pound bag for $20 or something like that. And you think about even some people like there's other people that I know, they get the cheapest dog food that they can buy just to fill their stomachs,
Because they have
but their
mini
dogs are
dogs.
getting sick, cancer,
Yep.
all kinds of issues.
You
So
pay one
yeah,
way or you
Well,
pay the other way.
And I say this because we're all about truth and honesty on this platform. If budget is the primary concern, look at making your own food, but also don't rule out Costco. Costco's Kirkland brand food, not the weight management, but the other, is a 5-star food. It is a really good food for the money. It's not going to be as great as the food that we offer, but again, you got to fill their bellies. So if you're trying to just really cut costs, Kirkland is not a horrible food.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
so what's in the pet food? According to the pet food companies, dogs and cats should only eat cooked food, which is all nonsense. You can opt for a raw meat diet for your pets. Your kibble is loaded with like heavy metals, deceased animals from the vet, and artificial
Ugh.
ingredients. Lastly, and no backs. All right, we got a little clip here.
Holsteins here. Hirsch Pendel is the current president of the Association of Feed Control Officials, a group made up of North American agriculture and animal feed specialists. AFCO writes ingredient definitions and suggests nutritional guidelines for pet food makers.
Pet food industry.
Pendel says he's not aware of any written law or regulation at any level specifically prohibiting the use of rendered products which contain dead cats and dogs.
Aesthetically, it may not be acceptable, but nutritionally, it's still protein.
Can we tell what's in pet food just by looking at the label?
There's no way to really tell that because if the ingredient says meat and bone meal, you don't know if that's cattle or sheep or horse or fluffy. These are Holsteins here.
Wow.
He said, or fluffy.
Yeah.
Could be fluffy.
Tragic. That's tragic. But that when it says meat byproducts, we know that that is unclean meat sources, not fit for human consumption.
Yum, yum.
Yeah, really.
It's terrible.
So that's from Matt from Cultivate Elevate on X. You can go give him a follow. So right here, Gubba Homestead said the pet food industry is disgusting. When I bring this up, NPCs defend it by saying kibble is nutritionally designed for pets. Vet recommended. I have a friend who was feeding raw. Their vet scared them and told them to switch to Purina. They did.
Oh,
Well, the pet died early of cancer.
Oh my.
Some of the Rockefeller vets, right? In the 1990s, I was told by a pet food sales rep that the pet food had to be legally classified for non-human consumption. So the larger companies added grounded tires to it.
Ah,
What?
Yeah, ground tires.
That's strange.
I can't remember what it was called on the label, but curious as to what you've heard. And Matt says, a friend just commented on Telegram that they use roadkill and natural disasters are also okay to use. Yeah, so there's no telling what they put in that, right?
Right.
That's awful.
Right.
well, all of our food and all of our other things are human grade ingredients made in a human grade kitchen.
Absolutely.
Awful.
And you know what? I just had a really good testimonial from a woman the other day who said, when I looked at your cat food, I thought, ooh, a little bit pricey, but I went ahead and got it. And she said, normally I go through a 12-pound bag of other food for my 2 cats in a month. And she goes, after the month, I still had almost a half a bag left because you feed less. Our food is so condensed and so concentrated, you feed less. So, it really is very competitively priced.
Let me pull this down real quick and show you this. Here we go. We have, there it is. So President Trump.
Best.
Go ahead.
He also signed a bill recently that had something to do with animal abuse. And he's definitely done some more than most presidents about our animals.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So when he said they were eating the dogs and the cats, it's because they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he signed the farm bill making dog and cat meat illegal in the United States. So that was back in 2018, but it's not talked about, right? On December 20th, a groundbreaking victory for animals in the United States and across the world, the Dog and Cat Meat Prohibition Act was signed into law by President Trump as a provision of the Farm Bill. The bill was spearheaded and sponsored by the Animal Hope and Wellness Foundation, AHWF, a nonprofit that rescues dogs and cats from the dog and cat meat trade abroad. The act makes it a federal offense to slaughter, trade, or import, export dogs and cats for human consumption and practice.
Remember when you would go to some of the Chinese restaurants and they'd say, "Oh, that's dog. They eat cats and stuff."
They eating cats and dogs over there.
Yeah, that was the Springfield, Ohio thing. Remember that?
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's scary.
The World Economic Forum is calling for. Hold on. I think I got the video on this one. We'll go to that real quick. But first, let's go to this one. Before we go to that. There we go. Add this. Remove. Here we go.
Why is it that this 1 cc dose of rabies vaccine, this is the amount that we gave to a 150-pound Great Dane, and we're giving the same vaccine volume to a teeny little 3-pound toy poodle? How can that be? And then you really start to wonder, like, why are we seeing a rising incidence of cancer in our dogs? If I had to point towards a few things to really look at, I'd look towards over-vaccination. And because when we bombard our dogs, our cats, with multiple antigens every year, multiple foreign bodies that we're injecting into them, like, what do we think is going to happen? You get an inappropriate immune response. You have the immune system not being able to work the way it should be, allowing for things like uncontrolled cell growth, hence cancer. There are some vaccine protocols that can list up to 8 to 9 different vaccines potentially given to your dog, given to your cat, almost yearly. I mean, it's a pile of vaccines. Why is it that this 1 cc dose of rabies vaccine?
Right. There you go.
Yeah, that just makes me really, really sad.
Yep. So we have also Secretary of Navy terminates all testing on cats and dogs. This was a couple of years back, just bringing it to the forefront. All right. U.S. Secretary of Navy John C. Pellon this week announced that U.S. Navy is terminating all testing on cats and dogs. Today, it gives me great pleasure to terminate all Department of the Navy's testing on cats and dogs, ending this inhumane practices and saving taxpayer dollars. He said, deeming this long overdue and thankful Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, as well as the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, is bringing this to light. So there you go.
Yeah. I'm looking what GLENDIA said. Lord, I'm almost afraid to find out what's in them. It is not good. It is not good. It's food.
Today, it gives me great pleasure to terminate all Department of the Navy's testing on cats and dogs, saving taxpayer dollars and ending these inhumane studies. This is long overdue. In addition to this termination, I'm directing the Surgeon General of the Navy to conduct a comprehensive review of all medical research programs to ensure they align with ethical guidelines, scientific necessity, and our core values of integrity and readiness.
There you go. So I think that was part of the some of the money they were siphoning through in this. With Fauci also had experiments with dogs.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and you know that veterinarians make 34% of their income from pharmaceuticals. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of money.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So next up, we have the World Economic Forum is now calling for millions of cats and dogs worldwide to be killed in an attempt to reduce the carbon footprint that they produce as a result of eating meat. Now think about that. Don't they fly all over the world? Klaus Schwab and all them.
Yeah.
Don't they
Yes.
fly to like Davos and have these meetings and the Super Bowls, and they all fly to
Yeah.
the Super Bowl like we drive to the supermarket,
Yes.
and then they park their jets, and then they go to their Super Bowl, and then 500 to 1,000 jets take off all at once, and then they want to tell you they want to talk to us about carbon footprints.
Yeah, and our tax money goes towards that.
Eating meat.
Right.
The WEF, which has ordered mainstream media outlets to begin pushing the narrative, wants to introduce an international policy that would require the majority of pet owners to euthanize their animals. CNN, always at the forefront in pushing the globalist agenda, has begun urging its viewers to starve their pets to death in climate change. CNN published an article on their website recently entitled, "Our Pets Are Part of the Climate Problem. These tips can help you minimize their carbon footprint." In the article, the liberal sadists at CNN argue that the meat-heavy diet of many household pets is causing planet-warming gases to be released into the atmosphere. Responsible pet owners should trade in their best friend for the planet. Snakes, turtles, and reptiles can have a really low impact, CNN suggests. Your kitty cat and pooch, CNN.
Yeah, trade your dog for a turtle.
My
Save the planet.
Their paw carbon footprint. Whatever.
Oh my God.
From paws to carbon footprints. They're not footprints, they're paw prints. They're carbon paw prints.
I was in the desert and I had all these dogs jumping on me, and I walked in and I had black leggings on, and I had little paw prints all over my legs, and it was like a badge of honor. They were little autographs, right? I loved it. It was like, look at all these paw prints all over me. I loved it.
And explains, are going to have to eat bugs just like you, assuming Klaus Schwab allows you to keep them at all in the future. Bloomberg, another mouthpiece for the global elite, jumped onto the bandwagon at the same time, urging pet owners to let their pets die to fight inflation. Hollywood celebrity Emma Thompson has gone even further.
Is this from Comedy Central or what? Is this
Yeah,
real? That's strange. So we have also, so we covered the food. Then we cover one more thing here.
Biggest travesties in the history of the United States. Nationally, we're at about a total of 1 million animals euthanized every year. You know, people have the audacity to learn about a shelter's euthanasia statistics and say, oh my God, I can't believe this shelter euthanized 5,000 animals last year. They're killers. They're euthanizing 5,000 animals because that community won't stop bringing them through the front door. They're not magicians. They can't magically turn a dog into an adoptive home. This is a process that takes a long time. It's a $100 billion industry, the animal sheltering in the United States. We're spending $100 billion just to lock up man's best friend and then euthanize them. There are a lot of rules that we've changed. There are a lot of differences that we've made from a law standpoint, from both a state and federal standpoint when it comes to breeding and breeding laws. But then when it comes to the macro picture of how do we affect these animals' lives and ensure their existence, there's no way to enforce it in many cases. So in many cases, animal control officers, there aren't enough of them to enforce new rules that have been put on the books. So in many cases, even if we pass breeding legislation that's got teeth to it, it becomes almost impossible to enforce.
Some people are just doing it and then they're breaking the law.
Yeah, and because California has such a mixture of urban, semi-urban, and rural, you know, you can exist in a rural capacity or a semi-rural capacity as a breeder and go completely undetected.
Well, and you know, in an argument we've seen this. I have a person in my town who has a certain breed of dog, and she is constantly breeding that dog, or not that dog, but she has quite a few. And then, you know, the first 2 or 3 are sold for ridiculous amounts of money. Then she's left with 2 or 3. And it's always this, by the time it gets down to their 4 months old, she's giving them away. And you know, I've said to her a few times, you know, I don't think what you're doing is a good thing. You know, and all their purebreds, oh, people want them. Well, yeah, but, you know, they wanted the first 2 or 3, but you had 6. And what did you do with the other 4? And I even wonder sometimes if she hasn't surrendered a couple of them to shelters. But, you know, the backyard breeders are just as bad as the puppy mills. I had the opportunity back in the 70s and 80s to visit the puppy mills in the Midwest. Because I was working in the pet store industry. We were buying hundreds of dogs because, you know, you were selling them in the stores. And there were some amazing breeding facilities. And then there were some that were literally atrocious. So I do think that they need to be regulated. But, you know, it's also, we need to spay and neuter. Spaying and neuter is so important to keep the population down so we don't have all these shelters jam-packed full.
Right. And I just wonder what they do with those 5,000 pets. You know, do they go into the dog food?
Yeah.
Is that why they want to turn them around so quickly? You know, I mean.
Well, look at that Novavax vaccine. They only tested it on 38 dogs, but they euthanized 35 of them within 14 days. Like, what was that all about, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming on with us tonight. We're going to close out here, unless we have any more questions. I want to thank everybody for their support, past, present, and future. We really appreciate it. I want to thank the Mushroom Ladies for being there with us throughout this transition. It's made it a lot easier. We couldn't have done it without you guys. So I really want to, Nature Girl, we send you love and light as well. Thank you for being here for all these years in the chats with us and introducing us to the Mushroom Ladies. We really appreciate it.
Yes. And I'd like to say, you know, when you support the sheepdog pets, you're supporting them and you're supporting your family or your pet. You're getting a twofer there. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, just, you know, think about it tonight. Who can you share a link to this show to? There's got to be someone that you know. You know, we've got to get the word out. And there's so many people that love animals and love themselves and want to take care of themselves. This is a good show that you can share with people. And then, you know, they see the show, they see the sheepdogs, they hear them, and then we've got some new listeners, which is awesome too, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
So, love and light. We're going to close out unless Miss Nadine or GLENDIA has anything.
No, have a fun night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love the knowledge from you Mushroom Ladies. I loved all of it. I had to do my research and do that song. It was like, is it going to be able to sing it correctly?
Well, you did awesome. I love it.
You did. I love it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Love and light.
Good night.
This is the story of the mushrooms and the power that they hold. Turkey tail leaves the line up, helping immune systems grow bold. Lion's mane sharpens focus, keeps the mind steady on flow. She brings a calm and balance, heart steady, nice and slow. Cordyceps support the breath, open lungs like a show. Shall you take it as a harmony, keeps the whole body in the know. For humans and for animals, the benefits start to show. These mushrooms move with purpose, letting the natural healing roll. Miracle mushrooms, watch the wellness grow. From the homestead to the city, everybody wants to know. Nature's finest, working daily, steady with a gentle glow. Pet care and fungi, they always steal the show. Spermidine is the chapter, helping cells renew. Longevity in motion, feeling fresh strength all the way through. Every capsule is a lesson that Mother Nature always knew. Slide left, slide right, ancient wisdom in a swing. These mushrooms carry stories, feel the healing that they bring. For the dogs, for the cats, for the people on the scene. This is wellness in a rhythm, modern, powerful and clean. Miracle mushroom, watch the wellness grow. From the homestead to the city, everybody wants to know. Nature's finest working daily, steady with a gentle glow. Pet care and fungi, they always steal the show. Helping everyone to know, teaching how mushrooms work with us, how the healing starts to grow. From the pets to the people, let the natural magic flow. Pet care and fungi,